presentation that I've been working on for maybe 10 years. And I'm always trying to improve on it. And I hope you folks that are on this, when you grab this listing presentation off the university loop on First Place, you take it, improve on it, make it your own, and run with it and make more money. So I love sharing this with you. If you can go to the first slide, Greg, please.
You can hit got it on the record.
I'd like to really, first of all, thank some folks that have helped me develop this listing presentation over the years. Terry Karjas is one of them, Mike Bussey, and Mahesh Patel are folks that all have helped me develop this. I want to share with you that I was trained, I was a part of the Tom Ferry organization for years and years, and they asked me to be a trainer. I can't do two things at once, so I said, no, I'm a realtor. But I wasn't very tickled or happy with the listing presentations the Tom Ferry organization had. And when I first came on board First Team Real Estate, I started doing my listing presentations, and I had this feeling when I went into a listing presentation, it was kind of like, okay, how do we start? It always felt clunky and weird. And how do you start this? What do you do? Where do you go? And I realized this thing needs to have focus, direction. I wanted to have almost like a pyramid where, you start down here, or, you start at the broad, and when you're done, you're like this, focused right at the bottom to what's important. And I always had this thing about, oh my God, the listing presentation's over and I forgot something really important. Because why? Because I was winging it. Winging it does not work, folks. I mean, if you want to really nail this, you want to make more money, you've got to memorize a script. That's all there is to it. Don't say, no, you don't. Yeah, you do. Because you need to create uncertainty. You need to create fear in the eyes of the seller, uncertainty and fear. They need to realize that this is a major decision. This is probably their most important financial aspect or item in their life. And it's got to be done right. And you need to let them know that you and First Team are the way to do that. So sellers are more educated and have more options than ever before, don't they? Isn't that correct? And this has led to doubt, confusion, and anxiety on the parts of the seller. And you know what? Even on our part, next slide, please. The job of a modern real estate agent is to guide their customers through a very complex legal, financial, and emotional process. And we have to understand it's complex. We know it. How many docs are in the car? Like 75 of them now, or something crazy like that. It's complex. It's legally scary. It's a big financial decision, and emotions play a big part in the decision-making process also. Next slide. So your ability to win the listing is among many things you need to show that you care. I like to say, you guys, get rid of commission breath, go in there as a servant. You want to love and help people. You want to help solve their problems, make them more successful. You want to demonstrate your skill, provide your track record. And if you don't have a track record yet, you'll use First Team's track record, your office's track record, or whatever. And you need, and very important, prove that you can solve the seller's problem and instill confidence with them in you. And this script will also help instill a massive amount of confidence in your ability, because you know what you're going to say, how to say it, when to say it, and where you are going. So every listing presentation I have has a goal in the presentation, but I also like to say we need to make sure we know what our why is. And we need to have a goal too. Let me tell you what my goal is. My wife's my partner. If any of you were ever in the restaurant business, there's front of house and back of house. I'm front of house. I kiss babies and give bro hugs. My wife does all the paperwork and makes sure I get paid. Well, me and my wife's goal on every transaction is to get a 5-star review and get a commission check. We've got to have goals in everything we do. We got to know where we're driving, why we're going somewhere. And mine's a 5-star review and a commission check. So I go into every listing presentation thinking that. Now, I also want to say a listing presentation is not a debate. I like to think of it as a problem-solving conversation. You're there to help and serve. You're there to educate somebody. And how do you do that best? You do that with a script. It alleviates uncomfortable openings, or I forgot something when you leave. And it helps create and build confidence in yourself, and it creates customer confidence in you. And what is important about the listing presentation, it's going to show your credentials and First Team's credentials. It's going to help create some of that fear and uncertainty in the seller that you need to do. It's not just agents are all the same kind of thing. You need to show that they're not all the same. And the script will show that you have a plan and a goal. Now, I want to share this before I go into my script. And believe it or not, folks, there's my script. Here's my portfolio. I have this script in my hand during my listing presentations. Now, I do have it memorized. I don't need it, but it's got little blank spaces. So when I'm asking the seller questions and they say, yes, Fred, I like that, I do this and I write on it. Yes, they see I'm listening, I'm taking notes. They don't realize it's my freaking listing presentation. So this can be helpful. And you're also answering their questions. But it's important to memorize. It really is very helpful to memorize the script because you're going to make it your own. You might put it in different order. It's not always in the exact same order, although the first page is always in pretty much the exact same order. But I'd like to say how important is practice. You know, in this business, you guys, you can make as much or more than a doctor, you know, and not have a student loan. You can make a ton of money here. All it takes is a little bit of work. For some of you sports fans out there, how many practice jump shots did Kobe Bryant make a day? How many times does a SEAL team practice entering a room before they go out on an operation? I'll tell you a lot, hundreds. One of our great Olympic swimmers, she swims 25,000 meters a day for a 50-meter race that she does once every 4 years. So, and how much time do junior partners in an attorney firm spend their first years so they can build up to be a partner? You guys, just put in the work and you can make a ton of money. In fact, you can make so much money, it's almost stupid sometimes. It's hard work getting started. The first, master this presentation, learn it, and make it your own, and you'll be closing a lot more listing presentations. So practice, practice, practice. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Everybody at once say it. Practice. Very good. Okay, so Terry is my boss right here. He's one of the folks that has helped me over the years. Say hi, Terry.
Good morning, guys.
I'm going to go through my script just as I would.
Hey, Fred, I would like to say, happy to be here. We're going to do a role play so you guys can kind of see. I'm going to act as the seller. But I think one of the things that Fred didn't mention at the beginning, and I don't think Greg touched on it. Maybe he did. If I missed it in the beginning, I apologize. But the importance of this too is to know that Fred has been the ¡1 agent in the city of Pomona, sold more homes, listed and sold more homes than anybody over the past 10 years. So this is the listing presentation that has made him #1, and he puts a lot of work in it. And so I hope you take good notes. And again, it is available to you, the download. So we're just going to do a role play here though, so you kind of see how it goes naturally.
So yes, so it's important that this first page really probably is in this order, because going into a seller's home can be kind of clunky and weird getting started, and this helps get you started in a much better fashion. Once you're seated at the table, you're going to start off like this. Thank you. I'm excited to be here, Terry. Do you mind if I ask questions and take notes?
Sure.
Well, you know, the reason I want to ask you questions is I want to find out what your needs and wants are.
Okay.
It's all about you here. I want to see if there's any problems we may need to rectify before I sell your home. And of course, you know, we need to know if we're a good fit.
Okay.
Right?
Sounds good.
And at the end of this conversation, you might say, you know what, let's get this thing listed tonight, right now.
Okay.
You might say, God, get Van Allen out of the house. Who is this nutcase?
Okay.
Right? Or, you know, furthermore, if I don't think I can sell your house for some reason, you know, I'll choose not to take your listing.
Okay.
However, if I have to go in that direction, I hope I impart unto you valuable information that will help you moving forward, okay? Does that make sense?
That sounds
Does that make
fair.
sense?
Yeah.
Okay, question number one, tell me what you know about today's market.
I know it's been a hot market, and it seems like things have sold pretty quickly.
Okay, sounds good. So sounds like you're on top of current events in the news. You don't happen to be a veteran or a teacher.
I do not. No,
Okay,
I'm not.
all right, very good. Have you considered being a landlord? The reason I asked you this, have you considered being a landlord? You know, I want to do what's best for you, your family, your estate. Maybe it's better that you rent your property, that you have a rental income coming in. So, I mean, that's something I could help you with also. So is it something you ever thought of?
I would love to be in a position to do that, but we need to take the equity from this home to be able to purchase the home that
Okay.
we're looking to move into.
Okay, so you answered the next question.
Okay.
Yes, you need to sell.
Yeah. we
Okay,
do.
awesome. Do you think all agents and brokerages are created the same?
Good question. I don't think I'd put that much thought into it.
Okay, well, I'd like to share with you what Google says.
Okay.
Sellers are looking for an agent. Google's all-knowing, right? Google says sellers are looking for an agent they can trust, one with experience, negotiating skills, the ability to work fast, come with a brand, and maybe a personal referral. Now, I want to editorialize right here. That's what Google says most important. Two most important things in my world are not even on that list.
Okay.
But nonetheless, what is most important to you? Not necessarily what the list says, but maybe what the list says, but what's most important to you?
I think we definitely want somebody we can trust. Actually, I think a lot of those are pretty on point. We want someone with experience. We definitely want someone that can negotiate. I think I would put all of those as
Excellent.
kind of
Yeah,
top.
I mean, it's good stuff. Google nailed it. Although, as we move into the presentation, I'm going to share with you what I think is most important. It may seem a little
Okay.
pompous on my part, but I think there's something more, a couple more things that are more important than that.
Okay.
But this is all very important nonetheless. So, okay, very good. Do you have any friends that are, or family that are realtors?
We do have a family member that's a realtor, but they're up in LA. So,
Okay,
yeah,
okay, probably just as well not to be fussing with the family member. You don't want to,
right. Yeah, we wanted someone that
Yeah.
knew the area.
that's smart. That's very good. How about, is there anybody else that might be an influence in how you price and market your property?
Influence.
Well, the reason I say this, I had a listing a while back. I had it listed. I had a reasonably good relationship with the seller. And I started getting weird vibes and weird comments. And finally I said, you know, what's going on? Why are you asking that question? And she says, well, my brother said, and I go, oh, your brother, tell me about your brother. My brother's a plumber. Okay, so your brother, the plumber, is the real estate expert. I'm canceling that listing.
got it.
So that's why I asked that question. Sometimes there's other people that need to be, if there's anybody else, they should be at this meeting. So there's nobody else.
No.
Awesome. Do you believe I'm the right agent for the job? You know,
I think, well, that's what we wanted to find out.
absolutely right. And if by some chance you don't think I'm the right agent, you think First Team's the right firm for the job?
I hope so.
Okay.
I'd love to get moving forward with this, but we do have some things that are really important to us.
Okay.
We want to
Okay.
make sure we maximize
Okay.
the price and all that.
Okay,
So,
well, that's the reason I'm here. I really am here to present to you. So thank you for this opportunity
Sure.
for me to present to you First Team's marketing proposal. I want to share with you, I take this very seriously. I know you can be interviewing other agents, or maybe you or will be interviewing other agents. So I look at this as a job interview. Take it
Okay.
very seriously. And I think it's important that I show you that I have a plan when I sell your home.
Okay, love to see that.
A plan to reach a specific goal when I
Okay.
sell your home.
Okay,
It's not just about me putting it on a multiple listing service
okay.
and being a 3P agent. You know what a 3P agent is?
No,
That's
never
my
heard of
little weird little. 3P agent is an agent that places it on the internet, puts it on the MLS, and puts a sign in the front yard and prays that it sells. So that was 4Ps, but you get the
Okay.
drift, right?
Right.
That's not my world at all. I do anything and everything I can to do the best I can for you. So that's why I want to share with you what my plan is and what the goal is going to be.
Okay.
So our agenda is going to be this, very simple. We're going to talk about the company, the credentials of the company, and my credentials. Do you think credentials are important?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to share that. We're going to talk about valuation. That means listing term, commission, and pricing.
Okay.
Probably pretty important to you, right?
Very important.
Is how much you net in this sale important to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
More money you net, the more you can put into that next house, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then we're going to talk about marketing. So credibility, valuation, and marketing. And I'm going to share with you First Team and my marketing proposal, and it's second to none.
Okay.
We're going to spend a lot of time on that. Did you get a chance to look at the package I left behind at your house the other day?
Just briefly, I
Okay.
didn't really go into it in detail,
Okay.
but I kind
Okay.
of skimmed through it.
Okay.
It was very nice.
Okay, well, there's a lot of very important information there. You skimmed through it. I wondered, did you notice I've been selling since 1966?
I didn't see that
Okay.
specifically, but I've seen your signs
Okay.
around for sure.
Okay, well, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let me quickly tell you what some of my credentials are.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, please.
Okay. I've been selling a long time, been in the industry since 74, first got my license in 1976. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, you've got the experience, and been doing it successfully for a while.
Okay, okay. Well, at the end of this discussion, as we go through my evidence book, my show and tell, I hope at the end of this conversation, Terry, you see why First Team has finished at the top of customer service satisfaction survey for years.
Okay, very good.
Why we have more buyers
Okay,
waiting to see a home than any other firm out there.
very good.
Why a world famous name like Christie's chose to partner with First Team in Southern California.
Okay,
Okay. And why First Team has been number one in Southern California for, I lose track of how many years, but it's been a long time.
okay,
Those are some pretty good accolades, aren't they?
they are.
Let me ask you this question. I like to say that every time an agent gets his real estate license in his dreams, he wants to become number one. You think?
I would imagine.
Nobody says I'm going into this business to be number two
Right,
or to be last place,
Okay.
right?
sure.
So what has First Team done right to achieve these accolades? Why does Christie's trust First Team?
They're doing something right, but honestly, like I said, I don't know the
Yeah.
inner workings
Yeah.
that well.
Doing something right.
Right.
Well, thank you for that. That's
Sure.
as good answers as you can
Okay,
give me. But at the flip side of that question, Terry, is what are other firms not doing that they don't have these accolades that we have?
Again, good question.
Maybe something to be a little concerned about?
Sure.
Okay, about other firms, other agents. Do you know 1 in 7 Californians have their real estate license?
Wow. No, I didn't know that.
Competition
Wow.
is fierce.
Yeah.
And studies I've seen show that 87% of those folks quit in the first 5 years, most of them in the first year.
Okay,
Very, very, very difficult business.
right. I can imagine.
And in my years, Terry, of doing this, I found that 3 things are really important in the transaction. Now, earlier, I said what's important in the agent, right?
Mhm.
Experience, negotiating skills, trust, right? This is what's important in the transaction.
Okay,
The 3 things I found that are important are sellers want an easy transaction, they want a fast transaction, and they want to get as much money back into their pocket as possible. Is there anything else you'd like to see me do? Fast, easy, and lots of
fast,
money in your
easy, lots
pocket.
of money. That sounds like our goal.
I mean, pretty much, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm totally all over that,
Okay.
and I'm game
Yeah.
to do that for you.
Okay.
Now, this is where I'm going. I'll use this statement again. It might be a little pompous on my part, but I found something more important than those 3 things.
Okay,
And this is what my goal is. I'm going to have a plan. We're going to go through that plan, this book, my evidence book. That's my plan to reach what I think is most important. And this is my goal when I sell your home.
okay,
And that is at the end of escrow, you have a complete closed real estate file that's legally defendable in a court of law.
okay. Very good.
What's the point of fast, easy, and lots of money in your pocket if you can lose it in litigation?
Got it.
Is California not the most litigation crazy state
You
on the
bet.
planet?
Yep.
Scary stuff, huh?
Right.
I could tell you some scary stories about litigation issues in real estate. In fact, First Team is such an awesome firm and so professional. We have a staff attorney. In fact, we have more than one.
Okay,
We want to make sure everything is always done according to the book, according to the law. I've got an attorney that I can pick up the phone up and ask a question during a transaction.
very good.
Now, I want to be clear, I'm asking the attorney that question on my behalf to help make this transaction go properly if I have questions. And I
Okay.
think it's only happened 2 or 3 times in my whole career.
Very good.
It's not for you,
Okay.
but it's for me to help make your transaction work good.
That's,
How
I
many,
like that.
how many firms do you know that have staff attorneys?
Got it. Yeah, again, I don't.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so that's my goal, right?
Okay.
Now, in order to achieve that goal, I'm going to do 4 things to achieve that goal of having that legally defendable file. We're going to negotiate the best transaction on your behalf. Going to make sure escrow closes. I promise to keep you informed and get as many qualified buyers through the door as possible.
Okay.
What's most important to you?
Again, all of those.
All of them,
Yeah.
all of them. And they all are important, but I like to say negotiate, make sure escrow closes and keep you informed are kind of moot points if I haven't sold your house to a buyer.
Right.
So buyers are the most important thing really from the get-go. Without buyers, we've got nothing going on.
Okay.
And I really want to share with you how important it is. It's all about buyers.
Very good.
It's
Okay.
not about placing a sign in the yard, putting it on the internet and praying something happens. It's about a serious, hardcore, shock and awe marketing program that gets more buyers in the door. And it enables us ideally to have multiple offers, drive the price up and get you a fantastic deal.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get into the marketing show and tell evidence right now. But before we do that, I want to say one more thing. I don't know if you know this, but did you know there are 4 different types of real estate firms?
I know.
Okay, well, you probably heard about red bricks, right? Years ago?
Red bricks.
Well, remember all the TV commercials? Blue bricks, purple bricks,
Yeah.
remember that?
Yep.
Orange bricks?
Vaguely.
Well, they tucked their tail and left. They
Okay.
found this business is too tough.
Okay.
You probably heard about problems Zillow's having lately too, maybe.
I have not.
They've gotten way too deep into a business that they don't belong in.
Oh, okay.
But nonetheless, let me tell the 4 different types of real estate firms are, number 1 are discounters.
Okay.
Okay. I like to say they're the Walmart of the real estate industry.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with Walmart, right?
Right.
Wonderful, successful firm. If you believe you get what you pay for,
hmm
maybe that's not who you want to be looking at in a real estate transaction.
Okay.
There's somebody called a rent-a-desk.
Okay.
These are the national firms that you see at the strip malls, the big names, right? But their basic, in the least common denominator, their basic operating principle is agent mill, where they just churn agents through their office. Because these brokerages know 1 in 7 agents in the state of California get a license and 87% quit.
Okay.
So they rent desks. They make money off renting desks.
Got it. It's like the gym.
Yes,
Okay.
they
You
don't.
sign up for it, and never go.
That's right. And so they're always, and so a friend of mine worked at an advertising agency. And he told me, Fred, the whole advertising campaign for this national franchise firm, was to sell more brokerages.
Interesting.
But brokerages got the opinion they were trying to get buyers. They weren't. It was about, so it's a lot of sleight of hand.
Okay.
Okay. All right. But okay. So, and then there's the firm called Hybrid. You know what hybrids are?
No.
Okay. They've got the sign that says we sell real estate, we manage property, we do notaries, we sell insurance. They probably sell puppies out of the back of their car too. I don't know.
Okay.
But what are they an expert at?
Got it.
Well, I don't know. I think you need an expert in something like this. Last of all, the number 4 type of real estate firm is first team real estate. What do you think makes them different?
No, I don't know.
Well, I'm going to say we're almost like a marketing firm staffed by trained real estate agents.
Okay.
We do more marketing than anybody else. I sold real estate advertising for the Los Angeles Times for years. I called on brokerages, realtors, developers, agencies, and I got to learn a lot about the modus operandi, the different brokerages. And when it came time for me to be a realtor, it was a no-brainer. I chose real estate because they did more marketing than anybody else.
Interesting. Okay.
And that's how you get buyers in the door,
Sure.
is marketing, correct?
Yeah.
How do we get a bidding war going if we don't have buyers in the door? We
Right.
don't. So it's got to be about marketing, getting buyers in the door. I got a good story to tell you.
Okay.
I heard about a broker in Orange County that owned a brokerage firm in Orange County. He owned an expensive house in Villa Park, Orange Park Acres, Lemon Heights. I don't remember where it was. Well, guess what? He couldn't sell his own house through his firm. So he chose First Team to sell his house. Why did he say that? He goes, because I know First Team does more marketing than anybody else.
Interesting. Okay.
And
That's
guess
good to
what? Guess what? We sold the property.
Got it.
Guess how we sold the property? Through HoustonChronicle.com,
No
a
kidding.
website in Texas.
Interesting.
Now, how many of these independently owned and operated franchises that you know, or these mom and pops, are placing advertising on websites all over?
I would imagine they're not.
Well, we're even, well, they're probably not.
Okay.
They're probably not. So we do anything and everything we can to get more buyers in the door. So, with that being said, I would just like to close and just say, with my years in the business, my marketing knowledge and sales and negotiating experience, I could have worked at any firm I wanted to. I chose First Team.
Okay.
And I think based on what I've demonstrated to you with my show and tell evidence book, that showing you all the marketing, our accolades, that I believe you too should choose me and First Team to list your home. And at this point in time, Terry, is where most people sign the document to get the house listed.
Okay.
So that's the listing presentation, gang. That's how it goes. I am going to have that, as we said, on the University Loop, so you can download it and you can memorize it. This particular proposal, this what we did today, was not about going through our evidence book. The evidence book, as you saw when I said I have 3 things on the agenda, marketing, valuation, and credentials. Well, we did not do the marketing, and we didn't really get into the valuation. But if you do this script, this marketing proposal script properly, pricing is super easy. I mean, pricing almost is never a problem when you do the proper marketing. That's the easy part. And you have far fewer opportunities or problems with the commission. And when you start your listing presentation off telling the folks you might not even take their listing, if you do this properly, they're going to be kind of nervous going, gee whiz, I really want this guy to take my listing. Look what these guys do. So memorize the script, get it, master it, make it your own, and it alleviates a whole bunch of objections. So with that, that's my spiel. Anybody have any questions or any remarks in the comments? You guys, I don't really want this to be like a what if or but type of thing, because I think we could do another Zoom class so we can talk about what to say, what not to say, things like that.
Yeah, I think that we wanted to share kind of the basic outline for those of you, if you don't have a real good script to go into it, to give you kind of an initial footing or foundation, if you will. And we can build off that, because we all know we're going to get objections. We're going to get, we don't want to pay too much. We don't want to do that. That's a whole nother class on how to handle objections. This was designed to kind of give you, this is what Fred uses every single time. And I can tell you guys, Fred we have 2 agents in our office that have the highest commission rate on their listings, and Fred is one of them. So you want to?
Yeah, and I want to share 2 things. Number one, you don't get every listing. Just put that under your belt when you go in. You don't get every listing, but you want to improve that ratio a lot, and you will improve that ratio greatly with scripts. And when I first was developing this listing, talking about practicing, I was on vacation, my wife's high school reunion in Myrtle Beach, Florida, at a hotel on the beach, and we had sat down for dinner one night, and somebody said, "You're the guy walking up and down the hall, talking to yourself, reading from a paper, right?" I go, "That's me." They go, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm memorizing a sales script for my listings so, and I would be in our office here in Anaheim Hills at 8:30 in the morning, many days by myself, talking to the mirror, doing my listing presentation with nobody else in the room but me. So practice. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. So I can't overemphasize memorizing that. And let's do another one of these with talking about what to say and what not to say and talking about some of the objections.
Yeah, and Greg, are there questions for Fred?
Good morning. Good morning, Fred.
Morning.
This is Steve Vartanian from the Yorba Linda office.
up,
Awesome
Steve?
job, Fred. You have a great role player there. Wow. Terry Cargis. He sounded like just like a perfect situation with every seller, right? I love his replies. And so great job. Question I have for you is kind of how often are you actually in front of the seller in a home? And with given the digital world, and how often are you you've already met them, they know you, they like you, but you don't really do your presentation, you're just sending them and they're e-signing a listing. And thanks again, Fred.
You're welcome. Great question, of course. I'm in front of my sellers almost every single time. I just listed a house a month ago where I did my listing over the phone. He lives in Tulare County. The house is on my farm. He discovered me on the Nextdoor social network. I did my listing presentation on the phone, but other than that, I don't think I've ever done a Zoom. It's always in person. And I also want to say that this is, I think most people don't do this, but every listing presentation I do is 2 steps. Number one is they call me up, they go, Fred, we're interested in selling their house. I saw you on Facebook. I saw your flyer. I've seen you at open houses, whatever. We're interviewing. I go, well, and we'd like to, if you come by and show us what you do. And I say, well, I'd love to do that. Can't wait to do that. But it's a 2-step process. I go, you want an accurate price on your property, right? And they go, well, of course. I go, well, how can I do an accurate price without getting in your house and looking at it and visiting it and asking you some questions? It takes 5 minutes. They go, well, that's a good point. I go, how about me come by tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock? It'd take me 5-10 minutes and I'll come back the next day and I'll do my full marketing proposal. And that's how I do it. And before I do the marketing proposal, I put a big package together and leave it at their door for stuff for them to review before we meet. And I've got that full, beautiful sales presentation that First Team Marketing has that's got the book in it. I put my testimonials in there. I put the prices in there. When I go online, when I research prices, I go online to all the different pricing sites. And I say, Zillow thinks your house is worth this. Remax thinks I have like 10 or 20 different prices. I do that on purpose because I want to confuse the living daylights out of them, showing them they're not an expert. They need an expert to price their property. So my pre-presentation that I leave behind has 20 prices that their house is worth, my testimonials, and also a list of all the marketing I do there. So they're already primed that, first of all, they're saying, well, nobody else has ever left this kind of crap behind at my house. And they go, that's a step in the right direction. Nobody else has been here and looked at my house so they get priced right. And then I go in with a real professional presentation, and usually as nobody else has done a presentation like this. And during my listing, when I said, a plan's important to you, isn't it? And they probably have already told me, well, we interviewed a couple other agents, and I say, well, a plan's important, right? And they go, of course. I go, did those other agents you talked to leave a plan behind? Well, yeah, one of them did. And I go, how about their goal? What's their goal when they sell your house? Well, they didn't really talk about a goal. Oh, they don't have a goal. Okay, well, that's good. Well, I have a goal. So, you're creating fear and uncertainty, and because you plan, because you're prepared. And I like to tell them, I'm not the kind of guy also that wants to put your house on the market tomorrow. I go, I'll do it if you want, but if you want top dollar, massive amounts of people going through and a better opportunity to get multiple offers, I'd like lead up time to let all of our shock and awe marketing go into effect and make our open house a killer open house. So that, and it helps that you've got a farm that you're farming like crazy too. I mean, that's an understatement. I mean, a farm is like, that's a must, but it's not a must, but it helps. Most 99% of my listing presentations are probably to people on my farm or people on my farm that got a house somewhere else. So it helps when you've already established credibility in your life because you're farming and people know you are the guy. it really also launches your listing presentation to another stratosphere. Anything else?
Yeah, it says, what will you be sharing your script?
Yes, it's on the University Loop on First Place.
Awesome. And in your, you already went over your pre-listing package, Fred. But what else can you tell to some of the major points of your maybe evidence book, in what you have?
Great point. A great question. First of all, I use First Team's book, that gorgeous white book. I should have brought it with me just so I could show it to you, because some of you may not know it, but we've got a gorgeous listing presentation book. It's glossy, 4-color. You buy that book and you bring that on your listing presentation. But before you do that, you study it and go through it, and you use the pages that resonate with you. There's tons of pages in there. I mean, for example, a small portion of it's luxury. Kids, I sell in Pomona. I don't need luxury pages, right? But so you use the pages that resonate with you in that book, the ones you can most properly explain and leverage to your advantage. You don't use them all. And also, as you guys, some of you are already, experienced, take your personal accolades and your wins and your awards and your stuff, and you build a little separate evidence. And for example, the Tom Ferry organization years ago named me one of the top real estate agents in the world using video. So I got a picture of me, showing award winner Van Allen. It's it was put on by Tom Ferry, by Zoom, and by some, three organizations there. That's just not a Fred thing blowing smoke up people's butt. It's legit. Nextdoor called me #1. I print that out. Show them, look, Nextdoor social. So you do anything you can. Show them that you're on the president of the assistant league, the board on the assistant league, or you're a Boy Scout leader. Do anything and everything you can to show that especially if you're a farmer, if you're in giving the listing presentation in your city where the stuff resonates, that type of stuff goes a long way. It's your credentials. And if you don't have those credentials personally yourself, that's when you use your office and or First Team's credentials to show the strength of what's behind you.
And then Fred, another question is for newer agents that don't have the track record, and you just covered some of that with the credentials, utilizing, the offices, information, status quo, and also the organizations. But besides that, how do you, what do you recommend a new agent that doesn't have a track record?
You might say, I'm new, I'm hungry, I want to be successful, and I'm going to work my ass off for you. You look them in the eyes and say that. Be truthful and tell them I've got a transaction coordinator. I've got my manager, Terry, I've got a great title rep. It's not just me, but I'm going to be your kind of like your front man. Just be really super honest with them and say, I'm going to work my butt off for you, and I'm going to prove it. And because I want to get a 5-star review from you at the end of escrow.
Hey, Greg, I would like to add on to that too. I totally agree. And I think for any of the new agents specifically, that they should definitely go talk to their manager right away, because it may be best to pair them up with someone like Fred to go in there and get that listing, or any of the other top agents locally in the offices that they're in. Because again, and they'll learn a lot, and they'll increase their odds of getting that. So
yeah, I've partnered on listings before. Love to do it. And it's helpful, and it helps build confidence in the new agent also.
All right. And then we had a question. And so what reasons would you turn down a listing?
Don't pay me enough. Price it too high. Maybe they're jerks.
no motivation.
No motivation. They're blowing smoke up their butt, and or they're listening to somebody else. It's awesome. You really want to get to your point in your career where you can turn a listing down and look somebody in the eye and do it and leave that house feeling really good, because they just lost an expert that would have made them more money and made them life easier and sold it faster. So that's the ideal. That's the idea. But if they're just kind of clueless or not motivated, and you know this is going to, I'm not in this to make my life miserable. I mean, a transaction could be hard even when they're good, even when they're easy. So sometimes the writing's on the wall. But part of the reason you say that is this is important. It's a psychological opening in the listing presentation. You're telling them I'm good. And you may not get my listing unless you play by Fred's rules. It's an important psychological statement to make at the beginning. Really, really huge. And it's I've had some people say, well, I don't say that to my friends or my family. I go, yeah, you do. That's use the script for everybody. Everybody. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Terry, if I don't think I can sell your home for some reason, I'm going to choose not to take your listing, but I'm going to share with you stuff that I hope helps you moving forward. If for some reason I have to make that decision, how can somebody not get that?
Awesome. The asking for reviews, right? They're happy with your reviews. How do you go about that?
That's one of the biggest pains in this job to me is, and I've heard other people in our office say the same thing. It's amazing when you do a great job for somebody and you ask for a testimonial and they don't do it for you. It just makes me crazy. I've got a lot of testimonials, but I mean, I should have a lot more. It makes me nuts. And I think it was at a Tom Ferry event. Somebody said he gives away $25 or $50 gift cards. He bribes them. And I haven't gotten to that point yet, but he says it works, but some people, they just, people are people. Some people just won't do it. But I always ask. In fact, I always ask twice. I mean, I do it. I ask more than one. I probably ask in person, and then I send them the invite, and then I send them an invite again later. And I want to say too that, testimonial tree is really awesome. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I like to get my testimonies on Google, because, Google is all in all on the internet. And then when it comes on Google, you cut and paste it, and you paste it in the testimonial tree. Now you've got it in testimonial tree. In testimonial tree, you can share it to Facebook. You can share it around. So that's how I do it. I like Google, and then I share it to testimonial tree. Now you got the best of both worlds.
Outstanding. All right.
Yeah.
There's no other questions in the chat, so let's open it up. Anybody else have questions out there? Fred.
Well, hi, this is Cerise. Hi, Greg. Hi, Fred. My
Hi.
question was in the chat was, I come up against the people just don't want to pay us the 3%, the 6%, or even 7%. You look in the MLS, it's 2%, 2.5%. How are you getting what we're worth?
The listing presentation, period. That's it. It's the answer. Most of mine are 6%. And if they're 5%, it's because they were a teacher or a veteran. And I said, because you're a teacher, I'm going to only charge you 5%. And furthermore, my split is always 4% or 3%. It's 4% on a 6% listing and 3% on a 5% listing. It's the listing. It's the present. It's the script, you guys. That gets you the commission. I don't think.
And Teresa, I'll also just share too, though, Fred's boots on the ground are what I think also help.
Absolutely.
All of our farmers who are putting the time in that location, and then they've practiced and mastered their listing presentation. These things go hand in hand.
They do.
With increasing controlling your fee.
They do.
So I think that's really important element. Laid that groundwork ahead of time.
Credentials, groundwork, trust with a capital T. Trust with a capital T.
I have a question.
So we do have plenty of agents that are going into areas they do not farm. And again, their confidence, their belief, they have put in the hours and they know their value. They're still able to kind of control their fee and get the 6 or 7%. We just had Steve Vartanian on here. I know I saw Bob too. So we have a lot of our agents that just have it ingrained in their DNA that they bring so much value. And that comes out at the table.
You got to own it. got to have confidence, own it, and confidence that, you're doing them the favor by being there. And I don't mean cocky, I mean confident that you are their best answer for the best transaction, the best price, the most buyers, better marketing. You're the answer, you're it. And own it, be confident, and but with that loving, serving position, also you're there to help and educate them.
And that role play, again, guys, I've never seen anybody work on it as much as Fred. Even when he's got it down, he's still reworking, retooling, and continuing to practice.
Yeah, on the way here this morning, I was in my car doing it. I commute from Pomona to the Anaheim Hills office. When I do, I don't do it every day, but I was practicing it on the way here. And I know the evidence book too, more evidence book. I love going on the MLS and finding god awful pictures of houses with the toilet seat open, with dishes all over the counter, with the picture upside down. I print all those out and put them in my evidence book. I said, this is the kind of stuff this is what you're looking at. This is what we do. This is what and I show that stuff. I may have a half-inch thick stack of bad pictures, and people giggle when they look at them. Oh my God, look at, oh my God, look at. I go, we do not do iPhone pictures. You're going to Matterport, drones, professional photography, floor plan, architectural floor plan. That's what we're going to do for you. And then you show them this stuff. So there's lots of stuff that helps create fear and anxiety in who else is out there and who they could be choosing if they don't choose you.
Fred, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
On your Google reviews, have you ever run into, I have one person in particular who has done it 3 times now for me, and it's not being published. Have you ran into that?
I have not on Google. I have on Yelp.
You
But
have?
I've not heard that on Google. No, it's interesting.
And this is someone that, she's one of my best friends. I did sell her
Oh.
house, and she'll keep doing it until it gets there. I just don't know what is being triggered that's not letting her review get there.
Yeah, I got maybe go to a YouTube video or Google it and ask Google.
Yeah, why aren't you?
Ask Google. Yeah.
Okay,
why
thanks,
you-
Fred.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I have a
Because
question.
testimonials really are important. When I leave that leave behind package behind. In fact, Terry's the one that told me. I showed him my leave behind package once. And he goes, Fred, why don't you have your testimonies right there? And I go, God, no shit. Oops. No, that wasn't the F-bomb. When they open up my thing, there's my testimonies right there. So if they read nothing else, they don't read my prices, they don't read my marketing plan, they read the nice things people have said. So
Yeah.
credentials.
So, Lucy, you had a
I
question.
have a question, yes. How do you tell the seller that their house needs work without tell them or?
Pretty easy. I mean, you know what? I'm pretty sure. Nobody asked this question, but this listing presentation, I think it was 3.5 hours once. I did it to the professor of information technology at Cal Poly Pomona, so it could go forever. So this listing presentation is a conference, but I told him we got to fix things that are broke. And his pool deck was like broken all over the place. I said, this pool deck is broke. I think he was insulted that I said broke. And I didn't get the listing. And I think he was just playing me because he already was going to list with the people, the person he bought a house from out in the desert. But I think he was just playing me. But
I think that's a good tip for everybody too on here. Save that advice for after you have been hired.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, absolutely good point because so I that's all I can think of. Or it was he asked me to come by once and I said I can't come by, I've got appointments. But my wife Dawn goes, I think he was irritated by that. I go, well, if he is, this might be one of these listings we say no, thank you. But no, I tell people, you know what? It's hard to keep a house up in good shape. It's hard. It's work. It's money. But I said in the long run, if you're not staying on top of preventative maintenance, it comes back in the end to haunt you because it's got to get paid for sooner or later, whether you do it over the years, keeping up with things, or you do it, when you list the house, sooner or later, it comes up. So, and you try to give them good reasons why they were lazy or cheap. And a lot of times it's just cheap people, especially landlords, landlords that don't do squat for the house. Then when they list it and they think the house is worth a lot more, well, dude, you haven't done anything against the house except collect rent. They'll say that. But good question. You can do it nice and lovely. You can do it.
Okay, one more question. Do you suggest them how to do the job on the first listing appointment, or you tell them when you take or you said, I would like to come back and tell you what it will be good for you to present your house?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. I'll rephrase that. I typically tell folks mine's a two-step process. I go, you want an accurate price on your house, right? And they go, yes. Well, the only way I can give you an accurate price is I got to go visit your house for 5 minutes and have a quick walk around, maybe ask you a question or two, and I'm gone. Then I come back with my full marketing proposal. And before I come back with the full marketing proposal is when I leave at their front door that package. And of course, and by the way, when I do that first appointment, when I do the quick walkthrough, I say, oh, by the way, tonight or tomorrow morning, I'll be leaving a package at your door. Please review it when we meet at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever it is.
Outstanding.
Some people have said, well, Fred, maybe you could lose a listing between when you had that first visit, and when your appointment is. Yeah, maybe you can. But the flip side of that is, I think I get a lot more listings because I do the 2-point appointment presentation. Because they can see the professionalism and the accuracy in the evaluation and bringing the package beforehand. So, yeah, maybe I have lost a listing because I don't say, I'll be over there in 10 minutes. Well, I'm not going to be over there in 10 minutes and give them a full ass kicking, really good marketing proposal. I need time. And if they want top dollar and they want to have a bidding war and they want to have a fast transaction, an easy transaction, and maximize the amount of bucks in their pocket, they're going to have to play my game. They'll make more money. They'll make more money by listening to me. I say, guys will make more money if you listen to me here. You will. You want to make more money? Say it like that, but not like that.
So we had a question, Fred. One of the agents asked, how do where and do you get your architectural floor plans, or who do you hire for that?
Well, that's my wife's world. She's back of house. So, I mean, if you guys want to know who it is, I can let you. I mean, it started off years ago, Planomatic. When I was using Planomatic, they're the ones that I started using the floor plan for. And then I actually hiring one of the Planomatic photographers on my own. But she moved to England, pisses me off. She was so good. Oh, Terry hired her for one of our events. I remember now, for our Christmas party. She was so good. But I think I've got 2 people that do them, and my wife has done them in a pinch also. You can buy software and do it yourself. So anyways, and by the way, and people have raved about my architectural floor plans, seeing them on the back of my 2-sided flyers, and seeing them on the internet when they go to Zillow and they see the floor. People love it. They're really, really something else that you show at your listing presentation. You say, do you know any other realtors that do this floor plan? And they're probably going to say, I've never seen this before. Well, this is what I'm going to do for you.
Yeah, and there's several companies out, including some of your photography companies that you hire as a package. Some of the ones that are a little bit larger offer that too as well. Home Depot has something. There is other company online. I mean, there's options there, and then we'll make sure we get that to you. Any other questions for Fred?
Hey, Greg, really quick before we go.
Yeah.
So when I post the recording on Together We Are First Team, I'm going to link 2 other posts. So one will be Fred's listing presentation that he did for the Master Series, which has the scripts. And 2, he also did an incredible listing objection handling, which was part 2 of his part 1. So I will link both of those with the recording so that it'll just be easy for you guys just to go in and find them easily in the university loop.
That is awesome, Lynn. We appreciate that. And, so if there's no further questions, we appreciate, first of all, Fred, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. Terry's a rock star. Thank you for your time, too, Terry. We appreciate you. Everybody here at First Team, thank you for being part of it. Next week, too, we have Reevaluate, lead generation tool. So they'll be on about some lead generation information and a tool that can help you out. I'll be next, next week. And again, this will be posted on Together We Are First Team. We'll see you next week. We appreciate being part of the team. Thank you, everybody. Take care.